Several months ago, I began a series of interviewing different people on the continent of Africa to learn about what is going on over there. Of course, in the U.S., we speak about Africans. Very rarely do we speak to Africans and let them speak for themselves. I have done a number of interviews that I've learned a lot from, and I would encourage you to look at some of those. I've been very impacted by many of them, and really enjoyed building friendships with people in Africa. Today I'm speaking with a gentleman from Kenya, which is on the eastern coast of the African continent. And he reached out to me just recently wanting to talk about the Global Methodist Church starting over there and what the situation looks like. Today I'm joined by Boniface Mukii. Did I say that right, Boniface?
Yes, you have tried so much.
Okay, I will do my best to do a good job. Boniface is a provisional elder in the Global Methodist Church there, and I know very little about him besides that I know he's trying to get a church off the ground there, but I know that there's some opposition. So I'm just going to turn it over to you, Boniface, for an American audience or for other Africans watching my channel. Tell the story of what's going on in Kenya, who you are. Yeah, let's start with who you are. You said you haven't been in, the Global Methodist Church hasn't been around very long. How long have you been a Methodist and a believer, and where do you come from? Tell us about yourself.
Thank you so much, Jeff. I take this opportunity to greet viewers, wherever they are viewing us from. I'm Boniface Mukii, and I'm from Kenya, Ethiopia Annual Conference. I am delighted. I am a husband to one wife. And also, I am a father. I have children. And also, I'm a provisional elder in the United Methodist Church. Yeah.
So, have you grown up in the United Methodist Church?
I have a background of the Presbyterian Church. This is where I have grown up. This is where I have been rooted. But in the year 2015, I joined the Global Methodist, the United Methodist Church, where I was serving as a chaplain in one of our chapels at the police, because I'm a police officer. And I am working currently I'm working with the police.
In what city do you serve?
I have been serving in Nairobi.
Nairobi, okay. Is that the largest city in Kenya?
It is the largest city in Kenya and also the capital city of the Republic of Kenya.
Very good. Okay, so you serve as a police officer in Nairobi, and you are a chaplain, a United Methodist chaplain for the police department there. Did I understand that correctly?
Yes, I am a police officer.
And then
also I have been a chaplain at the Airport Police Unit Chapel. But I moved from last year. I moved from that chapel so that we may be able to start up a new church at United Methodist Airport East Church.
Okay.
In Nairobi.
Very good. So, Boniface, how old are you?
I am 33 years old.
Okay. All right. You would be young clergy here. And you have planted a United Methodist Church there, and then is it your mind that you would like to join the Global Methodist Church now?
It is in my mind because I am convinced that I can only move with the people who are we think of the same, we believe of the same, and that we can move along with. So for me, right now in my heart, I have moved away. It is only by few days, and we will move officially.
Okay, so the Global Methodist Church, I believe, the only conference that has been established by the Global Methodist Church on the African continent has been in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Are you aware of them establishing an annual conference in Kenya, Ethiopia area?
Right now, we have not yet established our annual conference because I understand that there are many churches who want to leave, and also there are other churches who want to remain in the United Methodist. And we are waiting for to have an annual conference coming August, where people may make a decision on whether to stay or whether to move.
Okay.
But for me, it has now convinced in my mind that I want to move area, because we had planned to set up a new church along Thika Super Highway. It is the biggest highway we have in Kenya. So as we start a new church, we don't want to mix up, because we know where we are heading to. So we could not be able to open a church under the United Methodist name, and so we are aiming to move on and open a new global church there.
That's exciting. So that my audience knows how to listen to your voice, I think there are many people who suspect that the Global Methodist Church or the Wesleyan Covenant Association, that they are paying people like you to say things that they want you to say. Have you been paid to have this interview with me or to say any of these things?
Yeah, these things are happening, and especially we are having them in our country, and we can see them. But it is good to report that now, for me, I have not been paid.
Okay.
I have never seen any coin either from any area from our church. Because for me, where I stand in our annual conference, we have been having an embargo for the last 14 years now, and we have not been receiving any amount of money.
Really?
And also, it is good. It is good to be registered very well. Yeah, we had an embargo of the issue that was involving our bishop, and for long
That's right.
We have not been receiving any help.
Yes. So your bishop is Daniel Wandabula, right?
Yes.
And there were allegations that he had misappropriated money and that they couldn't account for funds. And so the United Methodist Church has refused to send any funds to Kenya for some time now. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, that was what has happened. But lately, because of this issue of some people leaving, they lifted the embargo. And they are wooing the churches, telling them that now they will have a lot of fundings because the embargo has been lifted.
Are they telling churches that are staying United Methodist that they will receive money if they stay United Methodist?
Yes.
Okay. But on the global, for those who are leaving to go Global Methodist, have any promises been made about money coming to those churches?
For us, the fire of the Global Methodist, it is not starting from the top. It is starting from the ground level.
Okay.
Because this is what we believe in, and this is what we know that it is right. And it is better for us to make a decision that will make our church and our society to stand even for years to come.
So even if those churches that stay United Methodist will be getting money, you and many other clergy and churches have concluded that the United Methodist Church is not a good, faithful body, and you will leave the United Methodist Church to join the Global Methodist Church because, to your mind, they are a much more faithful body of believers to belong to. Does that sound right?
Yes. This is how we are looking at it, because we want to stand firm in our issue of faith, and not only on sexual issues, but also to all other matters that are related to our belief as Christians and the way to go. Because recently we have seen people even on issue of the Bible and the issue of many other things. So we want to belong to a church where we say, where yes will be a yes and where no will be a no.
Very good. Yes.
Yeah.
So please talk about the particular issues you see in the United Methodist Church that have led you to believe that the United Methodist Church is not a good, faithful body to belong to anymore. Is it only the sexual ethics, the gays and lesbians, or are there other issues that you see that have made you very uncomfortable in the United Methodist Church?
Yes, there are many issues that we are having, and one of them is about the administration of the church, because we feel left out when it comes to the concrete matters of the church. We have spent a lot of time with that embargo, yet maybe some people embezzled some cash, and we have suffered greatly because of that result.
Yes.
Also, we feel that we are not under the same rule for the when you compare the central conferences and also our conferences, the judicial conferences, the jurisdictional conferences. When you compare, right now churches are moving from the UMC, and yet that cross cannot act on our side. So we feel that somehow we are being segregated, and maybe we are not up to what we are and what we believe in of open heart, open mind, because we don't see us doing that. Because we want to be that church where our yes will be yes. What we talk will be what will be in our heart.
So I think part of what you're referring to about unequal treatment is American churches have been allowed to disaffiliate, but churches outside of America, especially the churches in Africa, have not been allowed to go through any disaffiliation process. And the other ways in which Africans are treated unequally or as of less value than Americans is African delegations are smaller than American delegations to General Conference, even though there are more African Methodists than American Methodists. Africans are also not represented on the general boards and agencies on a level that you should be. And so what I think I've heard you point out too is this unequal treatment at the top level of the denomination, but also the ways in which the denomination chose to hurt your entire annual conference financially because of the bad behavior of just a few people, allegedly. So because of those things, there is now a disconnect or a bad relationship between many Kenyan United Methodists and the United Methodist Church. Have I understood all that?
Yes, that is correct, and that is just but a few.
So several months ago, most of the African bishops wrote a statement that they signed that spoke against the Africa Initiative, against the WCA, against the GMC, renounced all of them and said that they needed to stop interfering in Africa. Do you remember if Bishop Wandabula was one of those who signed that letter?
Yes, I remember that. And also for us, we followed and we made our assignment and we signed another letter that we say that they are not speaking our mind. Because
you need to send me that letter when we get off the call here. I want to see that letter. I don't think I've seen that letter. Tell me more about it.
We had that letter that we signed as the clergy and the lay people in the United Methodist, stating that we are not part of what they said. because our culture and our belief is not is not going hand in hand with what the bishop were talking about.
It
And
seems
also, as
strange.
we talk, and also when we speak about the WCA, uh, I think the only thing that the WCA have done is to speak our mind and to speak what is in our heart. Because for me, I'm not a member of the WCA, but we are moving around because where they are standing, I also stand there. It is not that they are maybe out of order, but I think they are doing the good work to enlighten the Africans and telling them the truth, because these people are not telling us the truth. They are not telling the congregation the truth about what is the issue. They are just talking about money, that those people who are living, they will live and they will have no money, and those who will be left, they will have a lot of money.
Yeah, there's been an accusation from many Americans that the WCA, as it works with Africans, that it is guilty of colonialism, that they are exporting, they are sending their theology, their ideas to Africa and using money and power and influence to make African Methodists believe things that they would not otherwise believe. But what I hear you saying is that the African Methodist beliefs are in line with the WCA beliefs, and that when they speak, that they represent a common shared theology and an idea of what the church should be. So have I heard you correctly?
Yes, this is correct, and this is what we stand for.
So I'm curious if many African Methodists have heard about the Christmas covenant. Is that something that you know about?
The Christmas covenant, which year?
So the way I understand the Christmas covenant is it was legislation that is going to be taken to General Conference next year that they say many African voices, people authored it and they put it together, that it was not authored by Americans, and that what it seeks to do is to divide the United Methodist Church into different regions where there will be North America, Africa, the Philippines, Eastern Europe, that each of these regions will have more freedom to govern themselves the way that they want, and then they will not be able to govern each other anymore. So the authors are claiming to speak for Africa, and they're saying that Africans want more independence from North Americans, and that they are happy to let North Americans govern themselves if Africans can govern themselves. People like me have looked at it and said, well, this is just a way for North Americans to be able to change the sexual ethics of the church so that Africans cannot affect them anymore. I'm just wondering, I'm wondering if this is just a few Africans that were picked by Americans to write this legislation because they have been bought, or if that really does represent what Africans want. So, but you're telling me, have you heard anything about this at all?
I have not heard about it.
Okay.
But what I would talk about about, I see it more like the one church plan,
Yes.
which was being paraded on the year 2019, where we could have a church and people could do as they prefer in their regions. And these things, we have seen them because right now, as we are following the book of discipline, we understand that many churches in the United States, they are not following the book of discipline. Actually, it is not something that to come. It is something that is ongoing. And we understand the situation, how it is in the United States. And what worries us so much is that the church is using even effort to make us change our position and our stand. When they are doing this and going to African leaders and wooing them with money so that they may change, because there is no one who can stand in a pulpit here in Kenya and tell people that their church is allowing gay and lesbian to have their marriage. We accept them. This is what we are saying, that we accept them and we love them. But we cannot go on and pretend that this is not a sin, and pretend that this by loving them it means that to ordain them to be clergy people. And we must tell them that this is a sin and they need to change.
Yes, that's something that I believe the majority of United Methodists still believe. That there is actually still a majority, even in the United States, that know that homosexuality is a sin and it is wrong to bless such a way of life. But at least within the United States, the people in power, the people running the general boards and agencies, the people who are bishops, they are against the conservative majority. And then what we wanted to believe in America was that African leadership had more integrity than American leadership. However, it's only Bishop Yohana in Nigeria who has been supportive of a traditional theology. And it seems to me, at least, that the rest of the bishops have been willing to compromise the standards of the United Methodist Church. You say for the sake of money, but I think I understand that bishops have a lot of power in Africa as well. So does it seem to you as well that African power at the top has been compromised?
What I would say, even for many of our bishop could not allow to leave the church because of even about their salaries, because the church we are moving in, the Global Methodist Church, it doesn't have a lot of fundings. It doesn't have those money. And so it is maybe hard for them to leave their position. And the situation it is for now, it is very difficult for them to leave the church.
So one of the things I've wondered is, I interviewed Jerry Kula, who is the leader of the African Initiative. And once upon a time, the Africa Initiative was quite influential, and it did a good job of educating the African delegations about what was going on in the church and how they could vote in a way that represents African interests and beliefs. I'm not sure that the Africa Initiative is still filling that role. Is the Africa Initiative as strong and influential as it used to be?
Currently, I'm not aware of how they are doing and how they are taking their things. I have been out for a while and I have not yet. But what we have mainly in Africa, we are having some people who mainly works during only those during the occasions time. But we don't have people who are like day to day. They are moving with people. And I congratulate, because I have never attended a general conference. So I may be not in the right position to speak about it under that. But for us here on the ground, it is not easy to hear of those movements. Yeah.
So, Boniface, what I will say, I've tried to maintain connections with some friends in Africa, and it seems to me that the vast majority of African United Methodists are of one mind, and they have the same theology, but they have somehow been divided from one another so that they don't talk to each other very much. And so it feels, from the outside, where I'm at looking in, it seems to me that African United Methodists could be very united as they come to the General Conference next year, and that they could minister very powerfully against the American voice if they wanted to. But my fear that I carry is that American money and American power has divided Africans from one another, so that it seems to me that they're just so disgusted with the United Methodist Church that they just want to leave all the money, leave all the property, and start a new church under the Global Methodist Church. Does it feel like that's what is? Does it seem to you that this is the case?
Yeah, this is the case in Africa, and we feel that we need to do something about it, even before the general conference. Because when you look at the graph of how we have been voting on this issue about sexuality, the graph has been rising each and every day. And we have lost quite a number of churches in the United States who have moved to the global church, who may not be part of the general conference. So also the bars that are being put for the Africans, we think that they may be raised even up higher, so that Africans may not leave the church. So it is upon those people who are willing to surrender and who are willing to do anything to build up a new church. And we come up together with like-minded people, and we build up our church.
I think most of that makes sense to me. Help me understand if Kenyan churches did not yet join the Global Methodist Church, but if they stayed within the United Methodist Church and they fought at General Conference next year, would anything bad come from that? Help me understand why you want to make the change now before General Conference rather than waiting to see what happens at General Conference.
The reason is because we were working as one team, because no one here could allow those things. Because even as you interview most of our pastors, most of our DSS, they cannot come out very clearly that they support the issue that is on the table. But as we continue, we see the division that has been brought. People are being divided, and we can see that as we continue, we keep on losing our people.
So are you losing people in Kenya?
Yes, because we were like one large group that we were over 90 and plus percentage. But right now, because of how people are connecting with others, we are having people who want to remain.
So are you saying that there are more people all the time in Kenya who want to adopt the liberal American position on human sexuality, that they are not staying true to the conservative theology that once upon a time everybody had? Are you saying that American liberals have started winning people over in Kenya?
Yes, they are winning people here in Kenya. They have started building churches. They are winning our pastors. And we believe that as they continue and as we continue living together in the same house, we may not have the good result as we may wish to have.
I'm not sure I had heard this before. What you're telling me is, what I had thought before was that American money and influence just was not changing things very much in Africa, and that there were very, very few clergy and churches that were receiving Western liberal theology. But what you're telling me, I think, is that the United Methodist leadership actually has been changing the beliefs of people in Africa, or at least in Kenya. which is most distressing. So in order to maintain your integrity and to walk rightly with God, you're saying we should not stay in the United Methodist Church even another year because the Western forces are gaining power and influence all the time, and it's just very unpleasant and unholy.
Yes, this is the current situation.
Okay.
In fact, we have some of our DSS who are moving out, and we have seen even the video in YouTube where they are finding for money, so that they may not allow those churches who want to leave the United Methodist during the annual conference, so that they may counter, and they are seeking for funds so that they can take their delegates to where we are going to have the annual conference. So we see it is happening. They are moving to our churches, and yet they are not telling people the truth. They are not telling the people the hefty issue. They are just telling people that they are promising them of goods that are going to come.
That makes me sad. I wish that I had something insightful to offer that would be encouraging, but it sounds as though you and many others have come to the conclusion that there is not much good that can happen in the United Methodist Church, and you need to leave. So as you try to leave the United Methodist Church and establish a new Global Methodist Church, is there any opposition to that? Do you think that will be difficult, or are you meeting many obstacles, or does it look like it'll be pretty easy once you step out of the United Methodist Church?
It will not be easy, because challenges must be there as you set up a new church. And as we are setting up a new church, also we understand, even also in the United States, also our sisters and brothers are setting up new churches, and they are not in a better position to assist us maybe the way it could be. So we are expecting to have financial struggles. We are also expecting that we maybe have maybe those things that we did maybe predict maybe come unto us. But we the best thing about it is that we are so much excited and expectant that the way the church started in Jerusalem, through hard work, people are being persecuted, and many got those handles, and they were able to overcome. The way God promises us in the book of Matthew, chapter number 16, that I will build a church. This is what we believe. We believe strongly, as our founder says, that the world is my parish. Yeah.
Jay Therrell, who is the head of the WCA, put out an article 2 days ago reminding people in the U.S. that there are churches in Africa, in the Philippines, that have not been allowed to disaffiliate, and that the WCA needs to continue advocating for those churches, for those people. I don't know how many people in Africa are aware of that, but I just want to pass on to you so that you can pass on to others that the WCA and Americans who have joined the GMC, they have not forgotten you. And I do believe that there will be help as the Global Methodist Church establishes itself. I do believe that there will be much help and aid, not just in finances, but in prayers and in relationship building. I do think that there are many good things on the way for those of you who are faithful around the world. I want to be encouraged with you and excited with you, and I think it sounds like you have an excellent idea for where this new church plant needs to be. I wonder, each of us, we have a very small vision that we have, and then God has this great vision. But what part of what you see, Boniface, do you want to share with people who watch this? What do you want people to know about Kenya or about you or about the Global Methodist Church, let's take just a couple more minutes so that you can share your heart and your mind with whoever watches.
I want, first of all, to state that as we are opening a new church coming Sunday, we are so much excited because it will be our church in the capital city in Nairobi. And we are expecting that God will lead us. And it is our prayer that God will go with us. We have big plans as we continue. Right now, we are having 3 churches which we are planning for them. Already, we have met the cost of that one that we are going to open, and also we are looking for funds to have another land where we will have a mission area. And also we are also working, the work is in progress for another church. So we are looking forward to have a concrete foundation that will make this church to stand.
Very good.
Also on the issue of our Kenya-Ethiopia annual conference, I know that many of my brothers and sisters are looking forward to see this day, and we are optimistic that we will have that deliverance, and we will be able to move. And also for those willing to move, that they can move with their properties, because I don't think that there is any person who can hinder us from moving, because our heart have determined. The only thing and the only issue is about the few properties that we may be having. We would like to move with them.
Very good. That sounds very fair. So as people watch this interview, one of the prayers that people should be saying is that at the next annual conference, that you are able to design a pathway forward so that congregations that want to leave can leave with their properties.
This is our prayer, so that we may move like the people of Israel, how they moved from Egypt. They never moved empty-handed. God allowed them to move so that they may go and work for Him. So this is what we are expecting.
Very good. Well, I think that is a very fair thing to ask and hope for. And for those who want to stay in the loop with what's going on in Kenya, is there, should people follow you on Facebook? What do you want people who watch this, they'll pray for you. How can they support you and your brothers and sisters who are entering into this new time of excitement? Is there anything that they can do?
Yes, we need prayers. We need people to pray for us, and also to come through to our assistance. We may need finances, and also to assist us in encouraging us, and also in modeling us, because we have not got the opportunity to have resources as they are available maybe to other countries. We have been in churches that even to have a book of discipline is an issue. You find it is only a DS who can have a book of discipline. We don't have the hymn books and no such resources. And we would wish that we can have people who can come for our rescue, and also to that we can be able to get more education and more knowledge. And more so to speak, I'm a student in the Wesleyan United Methodist College, and we would wish that we can have some people who can support us, and they can support our pastors too, so that they may get theological training, and they can be able to serve our people, because we have many of our pastors who are willing to go and work for the Lord, but they don't have the skills and the equipment that they need. They can work with.
Yes, yes. So there's a lot of things that over time we hope to be able to provide for people around the world. For right now, it sounds like things are limited, but I want to imagine that the leadership of the Global Methodist Church is putting resources in place to help you and others as you plant new churches and create the structure needed for ongoing support. So how about after we get done talking, we'll have a couple of days between now and when we publish. If there are any resources that we can put in the show notes, places we can send people to give money or any details, we'll put that together there, and hopefully we can get you some short support as needed. So I'm sure there are many other things that we could talk about, but I think we've given a good general portrait of what's going on in Kenya right now and how it is that people can pray for you. I'm so sorry for all of the confusion and an anxiety that has been caused over the years. But if we read our Bibles, we know that this is just how things always have been, and there will be problems in the Global Methodist Church as well. But I'm eager to be in that fellowship with you, and let us continue to pray for the United Methodist Church as they discern their way forward. But let us pray that those who want to go to the Global Methodist Church can be unhindered, and that they can serve the Lord as they want. So, Boniface, thank you so much for spending time with me, and we'll follow up after this to let folks know how they can support. So, God bless you in your ministry. Thank you so much.
God bless you.
Yes,
God
sir.
bless you.
Yes, sir.